Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rabia, and I'm currently working with Invertium Marketing Management in the capacity of innovation project manager. Today, we will have a quick panel discussion. During this discussion, we will be discussing about the UAE Innovation Ecosystem. Now, since its inception, since 1971, UAE has been constantly recognized as a hub for innovation, for its creativity, and continuously enhancing its social and economic status, hence making it an icon and a destination, a hub for new talents and businesses across the globe. Now, believing that innovation is the future of human investments, the United Arab Emirates leadership constantly emphasizes on its importance and has launched various and multiple initiatives, for example, UAE 2031. And to help us understand better how UAE innovation ecosystem works and what it aims to achieve and what its impact is, today we have some members with us from different verticals who play a very significant role in the UAE innovation as UAE innovation ecosystem builders. So we have with us Mr. Ahmed Mukhtar, who's working as Business and Outreach Director in SME Project Management. Welcome, Mr. Mukhtar. We have with us Mr. Ernest Yu, who is Head of Hello Tomorrow Singapore.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
We have Mr. Ahmed Abdul Wahab, who is the CEO of Next Arabia.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have Ms. Fatina Mo, who is the Operations Director in Invertium Marketing Management.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today here and bringing your knowledge and expertise to this table. Now, if you may allow me 1 minute. I would like to share my screen. Okay. Like I said, that we will be discussing about the UAE innovation ecosystem. If you may allow me, Mr. Ahmed Mukhtar, we would like to hear from you first, as you being one of the key members in supporting the government and private UAE in various initiatives in the innovation. Can you please shed some light on how the ecosystem in UAE, the innovation ecosystem in UAE works, and what exactly it aims to achieve?
Thank you, Rabia. Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. It's based on the, let's say, local time now, which you have from all around the world. Based on your question, Rabia, in UAE, believing that innovation is the future of human investment, the UAE leadership emphasizes its importance across all sectors through the UAE vision, which, as you mentioned, 2031, such as innovation, research, science, and technology. These will form the pillars of a knowledge-based, highly productive, and competitive economy. This competitive economy will be driven by the entrepreneurs, by the innovators, and must be in a business-friendly environment where you can find the public and the private sectors form an effective partnership in this environment. So, emanating from its strong belief that building a human capital is really far more critical than building an urban development. So the UAE is keen to or on creating a wealth of human resources capable that can meet the country aspiration across various sectors. So the UAE distinctly demonstrates its ability to attract and retain as well the top talented entrepreneurs, innovators from all around the world by becoming a primary destination for either the education or let's say incubation or acceleration for these entrepreneurs and innovators from all around the world, as we mentioned, not only by creating this, even by create a better professional and personal life for them. And this was really clear, as you mentioned in your speech, in creating a lot of new initiative, creating the new ministry for MSME and an innovative department inside each government entities. So this is a clear direction, and this is the aim for that.
Thank you. So from what I can understand, that UAE leadership, they are very clear on what they want to do and where they want to reach. So if you can just, give us a little bit of brief about what sort of opportunities are available for the startups in UAE.
Yes, sure. For us, as one of the leading company who was supporting the UAE in providing this support for entrepreneurs and innovators, let me give you one example for one program. One program they launched already 10 years back from 2011. This called Takamul. This Takamul program, launched by the Ministry of Economy in order to support all the entrepreneurs and the innovators, or let's say anyone has a technology idea. The type of support which they are giving, let's say, in two main pillars, like in a patent support as a patent registration, it reached to the consultation for the patent or even reimbursement fees for that registration, as well as supporting in the technology commercialization. Even if you are in early stage, like in the POC, the proof of concept, or even if you are in advanced stage, like you need licensing for your technology or commercialize to your technology, they are providing support. And this support is not only by the ministry or the program, they are partners with a huge number of entities, government organization, investing organization inside UAE, which is supporting the entrepreneurs to achieve their target and to continue, let's say, the investment journey or the innovator journey inside UAE.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Ahmed, for sharing that information. That was very insightful. And from what we can understand, that UAE has definitely forged ahead a very strong path for innovation, and there seems to be no stopping.
Thank you.
Now, if I may ask you, Mr. Ernest Hu, since we know that you are very intensively involved in the startup support, not just within UAE, but you support startups on a global level across the globe. So we just want to understand, based on your experience, how this innovation ecosystem works, and what are the different factors that drive this ecosystem.
Hello, everyone. As a bit of a background, for those who might not be familiar with the work that Hello Tomorrow does, we are a global organization that helps to support the advancement of deep technologies to solve the world's greatest challenges. So the perspective that I'll share today lies from stems from the position that we sit in within the global ecosystem, but from the deep technology perspective. So the promotion of more technical innovations is quite different from digital technologies, and it requires a lot more stakeholders to come together. This is because more technical innovations typically stem from research institutions, and typically receive quite a lot of government or research grants even before they are ready to start exploring commercial applications with an experimental or functional POC. So that therein itself, it's a whole different set of actors and stakeholders who need to be aligned when we're talking about the promotion or the rolling out of deep technology. I will talk about the innovation ecosystems from the perspectives of the perspectives of what I feel are common between what we have observed in the UAE as well as what we have observed in some of the other global hubs for innovation. And number one, it's really important that it's really important for research and government support to come in to serve in order for deep technology to grow and thrive, right? That's because when it comes to deep tech, again, the funding needs are very different. And the second thing is how do you manage a common timeline, or how do you bring the different stakeholders onto a similar timeline? Digital innovations tend to be easier to adopt because it's it's software. You have the right chipsets, you have the right computer, and you can bring your entire organization on board a similar digital platform. But when you are dealing with something that is more technical in nature, that might be hardware based, that might be operating on an entirely different enterprise OS, or that might be tricky to deploy in any kind of in an industrial setting, then that requires a much more concerted effort from all parties involved to integrate such a technology. So as part of which is why the innovation ecosystem aspect is very important, especially for deep technology, because the amount of education that goes on and the amount of buy-in that you need from multiple stakeholders and the support that you need is something that is a lot more broad-based and it's a lot more intensive in order for you to obtain. So ultimately, so in a nutshell, what you need to be looking for when it comes to the rollout of deep technology from an ecosystem perspective, really it's about communication more than it is about anything else. And I want to stress the importance of storytelling as a way of communication across the rollout of or across gathering innovation ecosystems around your technology and around supporting your deep technology innovation in the best ecosystems that we see. The people who are rolling out innovations have developed a great ability to storytell and to bring people across the entire spectrum of stakeholders on their side by bringing them on board a narrative that everyone can believe and everyone can get excited about as being helpful and to the future of all of their motivations involved.
All right, thank you so much. Just one more question that I have for you. I just want to understand, since you are working on a global spectrum and you understand different markets, so if you can just tell us probably what we can learn from the uniqueness in different markets such as Singapore or in UAE. What is the uniqueness in the ecosystems and what is it that we can take away from it?
So we have worked on a number of programs with different startups that have got to do with market access issues, with helping these startups successfully enter a particular market. And I believe this is oversaid, but I'll say it again. Every market is different. And it's about understanding what are the drivers in the particular ecosystem or the market that you are seeking to enter. In Singapore and in UAE, we share a common motivation in that the government is very active in promoting innovation. So in Singapore especially, I'll reference the Global Innovation Index that gets published every year. Singapore maintains its top 5 position because of one reason, and that reason it's got to do with the stability of government and the attractiveness of government support and policies as a bedrock for encouraging innovation to thrive, for supporting innovation companies that are built and premised on innovation. And in the UAE, it's the same thing, with the programs that they run with TIP, SMES, and Takamu. It's a lot of it is government led, and so it's about understanding what drives a particular innovation, and then what drives a particular ecosystem, and then where do you go to for support. In countries like Vietnam, for example, the ecosystem is very much built around a few key individuals who are very popular within the ecosystem, who have a lot of clout and who have a lot of influence. In Thailand, for example, it would be built around a lot of the companies that are owned by the royal family, companies like SCG, These are the companies, these would be the entities that are driving innovation. So you have to understand which companies or which entities are or individuals are the ones who have the clout to help you meet your objectives going forward in the ecosystem that you enter into, and find ways by hook or by crook to partner with these guys. So yeah, I hope that's
In fact, that did answer my question. And in fact, it's amazing, from what I can hear, that there is enough support available for everyone, everywhere, and seeing the government especially taking an initiative and support. Thank you so much, Mr. Ernest, for sharing these insights, and we can definitely take away from it and learn where to look for support. So thank you so much. Now, if I may move to Mr. Ahmed Abdul Wahab. I understand that you are heavily and very intensively involved with startups and innovation. From you, if I can just get a little bit of brief about who are the main key players since we're talking about UAE innovation ecosystem, who are the key main players in the UAE innovation ecosystem?
Yes, thank you very much. So just to build on what Ahmed and Ernest mentioned, the key players, the number one is really the government. The government is it's part of the DNA of the UAE to have entrepreneurship and innovation. That's why they set up a particular vision, not just for 2021 or 2030, but actually for 2071, 50 years from now, being one of the innovative countries around the world. And the way the UAE ecosystem works is the government pushes through, but then we have as well universities that focuses on some innovative research content. And we have the incubators, accelerators, we have the government itself, we have the corporates, and we have the investors working all together in order to create an impactful innovation entrepreneurship ecosystem. UAE continues to lead when it comes to number of deals, when it comes to number of investment deals, around 56% or 55% of all investment deals that happens in the MENA region happens here in the UAE. And if you look at the number of deals, around 26% of the number of deals happens here, and the value of dollar amount, it's 55%, which means a bigger amount comes really over here. That was a recent report done by Magnet. So for international corporates or entrepreneurs or investors that are interested in the UAE, there are significant platforms existing to actually take them off the ground. There are, for example, when it comes to fintech, there's a fintech hive. We have a DTech in Dubai. We have the Hub 71 in Abu Dhabi that's creating the whole ecosystem. Flat 6 Labs with Shira, very active in Sharjah. And we also have international players such as Techstars and Plug and Play and others already engaged in the ecosystem in order to create the next, not just big unicorns, but creating real companies that starts here in the UAE and then expands throughout the world.
That's amazing. And also, from what I understand, since you spoke about it, I believe that during your experience, you must have definitely come across various success stories of startups, new talents, new entrepreneurs, making it out there. So can you just share one or maybe two examples with us of a startup or of a new venture who made or changed the dynamics of innovation, not just within UAE, but on an international level?
Yeah. So we had a few years ago, Talabat, that was a company bought, not in the UAE, but Kuwait. Then we had big companies such as Amazon looking at it and actually buying Souk.com for a very good amount of money. And the key unicorn that hit the billion-dollar market was Karim when Uber acquired last year for 3.1 to 3.4 billion dollars to acquire Karim. That was the first unicorn, and let me be clear, it will not be the last unicorn. There are several other startups already in the pipeline that want to go out and actually have a breakthrough. And the great opportunity what we have over here in the UAE is it's on the one hand inventing something completely new, and on the other hand looking for opportunities that is out there and then localizing it. So for example, a specific example. When Uber launched after worldwide in the US and other countries, and then Karim identified that opportunity here in the UAE. So what have they done is not just copy paste, but they look at how it works in other markets and then adjusted the business model over here. So they launched the company Karim in 2012, and then quickly ramped it up. And the way they were very successful was by changing the business model, by not just letting the consumer or passenger pay per credit card or debit card, because the market penetration for credit card and debit card was not there, or many people still want to pay in cash. So what have they done? They give the offer of you can pay in cash, and that was the key differentiator and how to make it successful. So then they also figured out a way to how to collect the cash amount in order to give it to drivers and then back to Karim, etc., and build a tremendous technology platform in order to make it happen. Train their captains, and today Karim is the company over here. And as mentioned, it won't be the last unicorn. That's just the beginning, and it's a great way to look at the market and seeing that Amazon and Uber, they're all coming already to the region and buying these companies with the objective of penetrating the markets.
That's incredible, hearing all these stories. It makes you believe that anytime it could be a turning point for a new venture, for a new startup. And it could be any time then that they can make it. And seeing these success stories, it's really incredible and inspiring. So we just keep doing this and supporting it, and we are very lucky that we are in a country wherein the government takes such greater efforts to support the startups. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Abdul Wahab, for sharing these stories with us. Now, if I may ask Ms. Fatin, welcome. Since I have a little bit of idea about what you do and what your company basically is involved in, so you and your organization, the entire team, you put a lot of effort and in helping the startups, helping them get out there in the market. So from you, if I really would like to know, what is it that your company specifically, or the other innovation ecosystem builders do, or how do they work to support these startups to bring them to market?
Yes, thank you, Rabia. Let me say that Invertium is an innovation ecosystem builder and enabler based in the UAE, with wide range partners across the world. So basically, we work as the connector between the innovation ecosystem partners, such as the government and regulator authorities, R&D centers, universities, even incubators, accelerators, startups, the inventors and entrepreneurs, in addition to the investment entities such as private funding organization, government funding organization, venture capital, and angel investors. We do have different programs to support the startup. For example, we run our special access to market program, where we analyze the startup and the inventor requirement, and based on that, we connect the right entity within the UAE. to make sure that their invention and businesses scale up and comes to life. We also support the startup in different activities, such as conducting the market analysis, the business plans, and giving them the required business and market insights to develop their market presence. We do have also like different partners. We do partnership with government entity and private entities to manage their innovation program from A to Z, where we solve the challenges and we open a new opportunity. For example, we managed the TEP 2 round, which is the Technology Innovation Pioneer Program. The program was launched by the Ministry of Economic and Department of Economic Development in Abu Dhabi back in 2018. And the program basically supports the UAE vision to make UAE and Abu Dhabi a leading hub in technology and innovation in the region. And we all believe that the main objective of this program is to support and connect the startup and the innovator to the UAE market, and to ensure that they get the right support from different entity in different verticals.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fatin. I can hear from you that you run various programs involving various partners. So if I may also ask you, what role do you think the technology plays in streamlining this process, streamlining the innovation ecosystem?
Basically, nowadays, everyone moving towards the technology, especially after the corona pandemic. Everyone and each single business wanted to reach easier and faster to their clients, to their audience, which is basically makes us cope with the faster changes around us. For example, in Invertium, we have built the global open innovation platform, which is streamlining the innovation process and connecting everyone in the ecosystem together. And you, Rabia, have worked in this project closely. Maybe you can give us some insight about the GoIB technology, how this technology supports the innovation ecosystem.
Yes, definitely. Well, like Fatin, you clearly mentioned that it's very important, considering everything that's going on, to have easier access for everyone across the globe. So the Global Open Innovation Platform, it's one of the examples that how technology can streamline this entire process. When we at developing this platform, basically the idea was to make it easy for everybody, just to make everyone's life easier. We wanted to put geographical barriers, that time zone constraints. We just wanted to make sure that everyone sitting in any corner of the world should be able to come to one place and have access to one platform wherein they can just communicate with each other and build a community. So it was to make sure that, for example, you said that you ran the program TIP. And from what I know, that there are multiple of activities and multiple of tasks that you need to perform. For example, you have to hire the innovators, you have to analyze the solutions. A lot goes in the background. So basically, it was to make sure that all of this can be done in one place, to have it streamlined. So I think with this, we are ready to conclude this panel. If anybody has any questions or they would like to ask anything, please feel free. We are here to answer. Okay, we have a question. Can UAE be seen as the next Silicon Valley?
Yeah, maybe if I pick up that question, it's a very good question, and the very simple answer is no. And the right answer will be it will be the local valley. So the objective of the UAE is not to copy Silicon Valley, but to localize it, to make it successful in their own environment over here. The things that works in Silicon Valley, it's wonderful. It works in Silicon Valley. It won't work in Singapore, or it won't work in Stockholm or Paris or London, and it won't work in the UAE. Therefore, each region it's very critical that each region develop its own valley in order to localize it to the regional environment and the demand that is associated with it. So to answer your question, it will not be copy-paste, but it will be a much different, but in a different kind of a successful environment. So, and UAE absolutely, with the vision of 2071 and the UAE leadership, they are very much, UAE is very much geared towards that direction to become one of the most innovative countries around the world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed. Do we have any other questions? All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It was really wonderful and amazing to talk to all of you and get some of the most incredible insights about the innovation, not only just in UAE but across the globe. So once again, thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.